I sat here with my mouth open. I kept, can he, is he going to dig this hole deeper? And then I realized he didn't think he was digging a hole. But this is how this guy has been, presumably for the last 2 years, in the background. I mean, we're hearing from people, leaks coming out of the White House, that his senior staff is troubled by what he said, but it's consistent with what he's been saying in private. Which is amazing. Somebody, I posted a piece over on Alternet today that, just kind of gets into this, why the GOP sides with the Klan and the Nazis. And obviously, if you can't win on the issues, use racism. If you're running a scam on people, and you need to bring a lot of rubes in to go along with the scam, because the whole point of the scam is to make billionaires rich and cut regulations on polluting corporations. If that's what you're doing, then you need people to vote for you who don't realize that that's what you're doing, who think that you're there to defend the rights of the unborn, or to stop those brown and black people from taking your job. Blah de blah. It's just, I mean, this game is so old and should be so obvious. Last night, Baltimore. Overnight, right? This was brilliant. Monday night before last, the Baltimore City Council said, okay, that's it. We've got 4 Confederate monuments left in this city. Let's get rid of them. They decided that Monday night. They took them down Tuesday night. They took them down last night. Didn't tell anybody. Did no ceremony, no nothing. They simply took them down. And they're melting them down. They're destroying them. I suspect we're going to see a whole lot more of this. And by the way, for these guys who want to fetishize Robert E. Lee, Jonathan Horn wrote a great piece over at, what is this? I think it's Daily Beast, wasn't it? This, I'm pretty sure. It's titled, "Even Robert E. Lee Wanted the Confederate Flag Gone." Yes. Keep in mind, Robert E. Lee surrendered to the Confederate Army of North Virginia in April of 1865. He went on to become the president of Washington College, and he took an oath to henceforth support the U.S. Constitution. And he also told all of his fellow Confederates that they should be doing the same thing. In fact, Jonathan Horn writes, the Confederate battle flags only arrived in the college chapel decades after Robert E. Lee's death. He did not want such divisive symbols following him to the grave. At his funeral in 1870, flags were notably absent from the procession. Former Confederate soldiers marching did not don their old military uniforms, and neither, Lee was not buried in his Confederate military uniform. His daughter wrote his Confederate uniform would have been treason, perhaps. I mean, just consider that for a minute. Jonathan Horn writes, so sensitive was Lee during his final years with extinguishing the fiery passions of the Civil War that he opposed erecting monuments on the battlefields where Southern soldiers under his command had fought against the Union. Robert E. Lee wrote, and I quote, I think it wiser, moreover, not to keep open the sores of war, but to follow the examples of those nations who endeavored to obliterate the marks of civil strife and to commit to oblivion the feelings it engendered. You might want to let your, the next person you hear defending Donald Trump, Robert E. Lee, let them know that. So people are saying, well, what about, Steve Mnuchin and Gary Cohn and Eileen Chao, who were standing behind Donald Trump last night when he did or yesterday afternoon when he did this epic 20-minute rant fight. You got to fight with the news media. And, the crazy uncle, he's defending this stuff and attacking the anti-fascists, which is bizarre. I mean, our country went to war to stop fascism. And Donald Trump is defending fascists? But anyhow, you've got Gary Cohn and Steve Mnuchin. You got these Goldman Sachs guys standing there, and Elaine Chao. Well, I don't, she's wealthy, but I don't know that she has a connection to Goldman Sachs. But she's Mitch McConnell's wife, also, and she was a cabinet member, as I recall, in the Reagan administration. But what about Gary Cohn? What about these guys? Particularly, it's pretty much the only minority group that is represented that has a reasonable number of people in the White House right now. Trump has pretty much gotten rid of all the people of color outside of Omarosa, and I'm not sure what she's doing. But are Jewish people, and what's Gary Cohn do? What, man? This is there. He's got to figure out, and not just Gary Cohn. I mean, but okay, do we stay with the fascist, bigot, anti-Semite? I mean, keep in mind the fascists who were marching were chanting, anti-Jewish slogans and blood and soil, which was Hitler's slogan, Blut und Erde, in the original German. So are they going to leave or not? There's this big push to say, okay, hey, actually, whether you're Jewish or not, if you're just a human being, isn't it time to say no to this administration? You got 5 people now who have left his Council on Manufacturing, which was just a PR stunt to begin with. It's just like, are you with the president or not? I am now of the opinion, and I tweeted this yesterday afternoon after I watched the press conference. I am now of the opinion that the Republican Party is going to impeach Donald Trump, or they're going to put the steps into motion, and he will resign, just like Richard Nixon did. Only he's going to resign, claiming it as a great moral victory for him, and he's just going to go back to being a happy billionaire and leave that dump at the White House. And all they need is an excuse. And I've been suggesting that they've just been waiting for some small thing to come from Mueller's investigation. But frankly, they don't need that. They could impeach him right now on the emoluments clause. He has a hotel in Washington, D.C. that has a lease with the federal government. It's the old post office building. He does not own that building. He is leasing it for 99 years from the federal government. And the lease explicitly says that no elected official can benefit, or government employee can benefit from leasing this property. And Donald Trump still owns it and is benefiting from it. It showed a profit last quarter. The most expensive hotel in Washington, D.C. now. They could impeach him for that. That is not only a high crime and misdemeanor, but it's a clear violation of the Constitution. So will they? We'll see. I mean, I think the Republicans very much kind of have their back to the wall right now. But it's, so it's going to take a few months. I was saying yesterday afternoon, I think he'll be gone by Christmas. It may take longer. Sometimes it surprises me how long these things, I mean, the Nixon impeachment took about a year. The Clinton impeachment took 7 years. Although, it was 6 years before they found something that they thought they could impeach him on. Bill Clinton, in retrospect, was squeaky clean. I mean, this guy has such a trail. Trump has such a trail of things that. Okay. So there's that. Do you think that the Republican Party is gonna wake up and impeach him? I think that they're. My point is, and the point of the article that I wrote over at Alternate, Why the GOP Sides with the Klan and the Nazis, is that the billionaires who own the Republican Party right now don't care about civil rights, by and large. Don't care about the Klan. Don't care about, all this stuff is just a sideshow. They just want their damn tax cuts. And the ones who are in the fossil fuel industry or the paper industry or other polluting industries, they just want to be able to dump their damn pollution in our air and water and not be fined for it and not be hassled by regulatory agencies. That's all they want. And they realize that they've got to suck up to the Nazis to get enough people to vote for them that they can hold political office, or that their toadies can hold political office. I mean, what do you do? Do you go out as a Republican and say, vote for me because I'm going to cut taxes on billionaires, I'm going to deregulate poisoning industries? No, you don't. Instead, you say, oh, we've got to, save the unborn, and we've got to stop, so the billionaires don't care. This train is just rolling down the track here. And at some point, and I think it happened yesterday, the billionaires themselves are going to order that he be taken out. They're going to say to their toadies from the Republican Party, who are willing to even lie about science, like climate science, it's time for Donald to go. And then it's going to happen. No big public announcement. It'll just happen.